Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're cracking open the vault on something that is honestly, truly extraordinary. We are going deep into the forbidden archives to uncover the secrets of a hyper-accelerated prehistoric society. A society that didn't just survive the elements, they literally harnessed the Earth's very core. Welcome to Alternate Timeline Zero, the Magma Smiths. Picture a dark, hyper-realistic, gritty world, an eerie alternate reality completely saturated in abyssal grays and the glaring, deep volcanic orange of open magma. It's a completely different timeline, so let's just dive right in.
So there's this staggering quote right from the archives that sets the stage perfectly. It says, "History tells us the Bronze Age began thousands of years later. But in this timeline, the bioelectric power of the stone grid allowed prehistoric humans to bypass the Bronze Age entirely, forging advanced carbonized steel directly inside open rivers of active magma." I mean, just let that sink in for a second. We're looking at an unsettling alternate reality where human evolution took a massive, fiery, industrial leap completely out of sync with everything we know about our own past.
Section 1. Bypassing the Bronze Age.
When you look at our standard historical timeline, human progress was a pretty slow, millennia-long crawl, right? We painstakingly discovered copper, then eventually bronze, and slowly, very slowly, made our way into the Iron Age. But over in Timeline Zero, we witness an immediate, almost violent leap straight to forging advanced carbonized steel right in the middle of prehistory. We're talking about nomadic clans who suddenly possess the capacity for advanced metallurgy. How exactly does a primitive society just skip thousands of years of trial and error?
Section 2. The Subterranean Anomaly.
The actual sequence of events that triggered this whole industrial revolution is absolutely fascinating. First, the grain machine and that massive T-pillar network hit absolute peak capacity. Remember, this wasn't just passive stone architecture. It was a highly active bioelectric grid. All that intense electromagnetic energy had to go somewhere, and it forced its way straight down into the limestone plateau, actively destabilizing the fault lines right beneath the Krakatoa volcanic shield. Now in our history, that spells a catastrophic natural volcanic eruption, game over. But instead of suffering apocalyptic disaster, these ancient builders systematically vented and redirected those subsurface magma flows using their T-pillars. They took a localized doomsday scenario and flipped it into a massive industrial engine.
Section 3. Pyromagnetic metallurgy.
The crucial detail here is this staggering number, 1,300 degrees Celsius. That is the extreme heat of liquid rock. You absolutely need that kind of incredible, sustained, and controlled thermal energy to purify carbonized steel. In Timeline Zero, they didn't sit around waiting to figure out how to build furnaces to reach that temp. They went straight to the source and brought their metallurgical process directly to the Earth's mantle.
So how did they pull this off? The archives break down the hyper-advanced mechanics these nomadic clans used to manipulate this terrifying abyssal environment. First, they built massive stone sluices right around the thermal vents. Imagine the monumental scale of that. Gritty, heavy geological structures physically holding back literal rivers of fire. Then, they systematically vented controlled lines of that magma. And step 3 is the real stroke of genius. They introduced pulverized meteorite iron directly into the flowing liquid rock to trigger a chemical reaction. They were using the open magma itself as a crucible to purify steel at 1,300 degrees. It is just a mind-blowing display of pyromagnetic engineering.
Section 4. The Lava Refinery.
Try to picture the mysterious silhouettes of these workers standing on the edge of a blinding, deep volcanic orange magma river deep underground. How on earth you even survive that kind of apocalyptic environment? Well, to endure it, they had to rely on some incredibly brutal specialized gear. They wore these crude but highly effective breathing masks just to filter out the toxic volcanic gases. They wrapped themselves in layered, wet animal skins and then coated themselves in thick, wet clay to keep their flesh from literally blistering off in the radiant heat. And to manipulate those molten rivers, they used nothing but massive, long limestone rods. It's a terrifying, desperate, yet highly advanced industrial operation hidden completely in the dark.
All of this intense labor demands we ask a really obvious question. What on earth requires advanced carbonized steel back in the Stone Age? Is it weapons? I mean, it's completely natural to assume they were using this terrifying industrial power for war, to forge unstoppable blades and conquer rival clans. But the truth hidden in this forbidden archive is way more shocking, and it completely upends everything we might assume about this society.
Section 5. Shielding the Neural Network.
They absolutely weren't forging swords or spears. The molten steel was actually being cast into massive iron casings. These casings were used to line the underground tunnels of their central grid, specifically protecting a vast neural network from geothermal decay. Think about that for a second. They were actively using the intense heat of the Earth to build the exact shielding they needed to protect their bioelectric technology from that very same heat. It's this masterful, self-sustaining loop of engineering. The carbonized steel wasn't an offensive weapon at all. It was a defensive mechanism to ensure their hyper-evolved infrastructure survived. Which leaves us with this final, genuinely haunting thought. If nomadic clans were out there protecting a massive neural network from geothermal decay using controlled rivers of magma, what else is hidden in the dark, gritty corners of Timeline Zero? If this staggering level of technology was literally just the beginning of their alternate path, what other forgotten nightmares and miracles are waiting to be unearthed in the archives? Thanks for exploring this incredible anomaly with me today. Keep questioning the timeline, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.